and I actually got my drone confiscated by the Ohio police.
Why?
Well, what happened was I flew my drone, like, not over, but like overlooking the stadium. And within like 5
During
minutes.
the game or?
No, like 3 hours before the game, which
Okay.
actually like quite literally saved me of like a felony.
Welcome to the In Your Home podcast. I'm your host, Brett Rosenthal. This podcast is about real people and real homes in Philadelphia and other cities near you. As a realtor in Philadelphia, I get to see all types of homes and meet all kinds of people, and I want to share these experiences with everybody. Tons of unique homes and some amazing people is what you will hear and see. If you like what you hear, follow us on your favorite streaming platform. Hey everyone, how are you? My name is Brett Rosenthal. Today we are here for another episode of the In Your Home podcast. We got a special guest today. You've probably seen him on TikTok if you're on TikTok. This is Santiago, otherwise known as No Shorts on TikTok. And we're happy to have him here today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let everyone know.
So now I introduce myself.
Introduce yourself.
Cool. What's up? I'm Santiago, also known as No Shorts. All I do is like Philadelphia/Pennsylvania content. So anything local, that's all I post. So the goal is, I feel like there's not a lot of social media content related to like your local area.
Okay.
So my goal is kind of bring real life to social media, and showcase stuff that people actually, interact with in their real life, and then showcase that on social media. Just showcase anything cool within Philly and PA. So.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
I started it right after I graduated from high school, so 2020, and now I'm a junior at Temple. So it's been like almost 3.5 years maybe, because I took a gap year after high school, so I spent like a whole year just like working and making videos, and about 3.5 years.
So I'm just curious, what made the No Shorts?
So why No Shorts?
Yeah,
that's a great
what
question.
made that whole brand?
What is
I used to row in high school, so something we would always say is like no shorts, meaning no shortcuts. Like winners don't take shortcuts. So anytime like you're tired in practice, like you kind of want to take your foot off the gas, like nah, like fuck that, like no shorts, no shortcuts. If we want to win, like if we want to be as fast as we can, can't take shorts. So it started out all as like a clothing brand, because I was just like, oh, this is like a phrase me and my friends always say, let me throw it on a shirt. Then I realized like I don't want to be a designer. I don't want to like make that's not like my passion. Like that stuff is cool, but it's not like my passion. Okay. But I've always kind of made social media accounts. Like when I was like 9 years old, like no joke, on like my iPod Touch, and like my sister showed me Instagram, and I was like, whoa, there's like all these meme pages on Instagram. So I started like following a bunch, screenshotting memes, and like reposting them. I think I had like a account with like 1,000 followers, like which has like
meme accounts?
Yeah, like as like when I was like a kid in like 5th grade, like that's what I was doing. And then in high school, I had like a Star Wars facts account where I would just like find I would post 2 Star Wars facts every single day, and then like people who would like sell Star Wars stuff would like DM me like if I could like put ads on there. And like as a kid, like in high school, I was making like $100 or $200 a month, which was like so much money for me.
That's a pretty cool side gig.
And I was just like posting Star Wars facts. So I don't know.
Do you still have that account?
No, it might be up. I think I gave it to a friend of mine who also did like Star Wars stuff, but no, I've not touched that account in like 8 years.
But who's your favorite character in Star Wars?
I would say like realistic. Let me think. I don't want to go something basic like I don't know like Luke, but I would honestly probably go like R2-D2 or something like that. Yeah. Like just like always just like cool, funny. I don't know. What's yours?
I liked R2-D2. I liked it when like there was like the scenes where he was like freaking out and all his like he was just going off with the buttons and the sounds with the audio with him. I think that's so funny.
I'm not gonna mimic the sound.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about like trying to do that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did you ever like run out of Star Wars facts? Like, is there?
Yeah, so that was like a logistical issue towards like the late. Like I did that page for like 1.5 years, and I got tired of it because after like the big movies had been released, the like ad money stopped coming in. So then I was like making like $60 a month, and it was terrible. So.
Do you remember like any of the facts that are from it, or like?
Oh no, there was like
There's so many
400
of them.
facts. But yeah, that's
Holy
what
cow.
happened was like eventually I was like running
Hard
out.
to
I was like
find.
trying to buy like fact books like for each movie. I was like going to other accounts and trying to scroll like deep. Like it just became it would take me like an hour,
To find
like
new
a day to
facts.
like find like a good fact because I was trying to find good ones because like if you didn't find stuff that was interesting, it wasn't gonna like blow up on the Explore page. So I was like working really hard to try to find them. And once like the ad money kind of stopped coming in, I was like, I don't care that much. And then I stopped.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Joe's, which is right in Philadelphia. So now I go to Temple. So it's like I've been going to school in Philly
In
for
North
a
Philly.
while now.
Real
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you choose Temple over St. Joe's?
Temple's just like a bigger school. I don't know. I mean, over like SJU, it's like way cheaper. And yeah, that's probably about it.
Okay. What's it like living? Or do you live on campus? Or?
I'm like right off campus, but
Okay.
yeah.
What's it been like living there over the last
I mean,
couple
like,
years?
it's not like a nice suburb, but, and I've heard like crazy stories from like other students, but at least like for me, it's been pretty
Yeah,
pretty
so-
fine. Like, honestly, I think something people don't really think of, like when they pick schools, is like somewhere like Temple, like, it's not as nice of an area, sure, but that also means like you can throw house parties way easier.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because like neighbors will also
Figure
make a lot of
problems.
noise. But like seriously, like you will have like cops will not care as much about like noise from a house where like you go to somewhere like Westchester, there's like a bit too much
so
noise.
strict there.
And yeah, like instantly stuff will get shut down. Where like at Temple, like for the Birds Super Bowl last year, there was like a whole block party that like spanned, like there were so many people there. And then there were cops on both ends of the street. And they were just making sure like everyone was okay. They weren't even there to shut stuff down. Like,
Did you see that car that
Flip
was
over?
like flipped over?
yeah, I definitely did see that. No, I saw that like firsthand. I have like a video on my phone.
Oh my gosh.
I did not take part of the
Did you
flipping
take part in that?
That's good.
for legal reasons, but like I actually also did. But I definitely did see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the students there are like way more community based and like for the university and like the school.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's my thing about going to school in North Philly is like honestly, it becomes as a college student like things are just way more relaxed in terms of like if you're open carrying like you're not gonna have a cop just stop by and like cite you. Like that's something that like most other college campuses like you have to deal with, which is kind of annoying. So that's what I would say about like being in North Philly. Like just take an Uber if it's late at night. Like even if it's like 10 blocks, like it'll be an $8 Uber. You know, like don't go out walking by yourself at night like too late. Like just be a
Common
bit
sense.
more cautious, be a bit like smarter. But I've had like no issues personally.
I think there was a spot, it was like called the Barn or something like that by Temple. It used to be like an area for like college students to like hang out at.
I'm not sure. Maybe
A bar or is
No,
it
it's
like
called
a?
like the Barn.
the Barn. I know.
Yeah.
It used to be popular, but yeah, it was mostly just for like students to kind of just like hang out at. It's pretty much like house party, but it's not a house party. It's more just like specifically for those students to like come and like hang out and like network and get to know other students
Wow.
from.
Yeah. I know there's like another like big like I know it's a Big Ten school that has like a spot called the Barn.
Okay.
So I don't know if Temple does.
Gotcha.
How many people do you live with?
I have 3 roommates, and I also have 2 pets. We have a cat and a dog.
Okay.
So I have 5 roommates actually.
5.
But
How many pay rent?
all of it. Well, not the cat and the dog don't pay rent, but yeah, we all split it.
How much is? I'm just curious. Like, what's rent? Like,
I think it's like $440
Each?
a month. Yeah, each person, and then like plus utilities probably is like $500 a month.
okay. And you all have your own room.
Yeah, I have my own room. I share a bathroom with like my one roommate, but it's nice because we have like a first floor with like a kitchen, like we have like a dining table, TV, and then we actually have like there's 2 rooms upstairs, and then there's a basement with like a common area where we have like a squat rack, a TV, like couch, and
You have
then
a
our
spot
2
rack
rooms.
in the
Oh
living
yeah,
room?
oh yeah. We have a pimped out place. I'm not gonna lie. It's really nice.
Do you
Like
have a whole house, or is it like one of those where it's
no,
like
so
split?
there's a second and third floor, but that like that are just like other
Other people
tenants.
have.
But yeah, like we have like our own like unit, and yeah, it's nice. I like the way our house
Did you
is.
choose your roommates or?
Yeah, they're like my best friends from like freshman year. So
okay.
I remember like we all like met up freshman year, and then last year we were all kind of like separate, and then this year and then next year we'll all be living together again. So it's been good. Like it's been super fun. Like every time I come home, our dog, like her name is Dolly. Like she just comes up, like starts running circles around me. Like it's like a great thing to come home to. Yeah. Also, where did you go to college?
I was going to get to that because I saw one of your videos. So I went to Ohio State.
Wow.
And I saw you went there. I didn't watch all of it, but it was to make fun of Ohio State pretty much? Or?
No, it was pretty much like I went to Ohio State for Ohio State, Penn State, and I was meeting up with like a YouTuber there that does content where he always will go to like a college football game and go as like the opposing team. So if he goes to like, he'll go to like LSU, Alabama, dressed up as an LSU fan, trying to like chirp Alabama fans. So I was like, oh, like that's not really like, I don't really do prank content, but I do like Pennsylvania content. So I was like, all right, I'll go like collab with him. And yeah, so I was there and I was trying to like get kind of reactions out of like Ohio State fans. And I actually got my drone confiscated by the Ohio police.
Why?
Well, what happened was I flew my drone like not over, but like overlooking the stadium, and within like 5
During
minutes.
the game or?
No, like 3 hours before the game, which
Okay.
actually like quite literally saved me of like a felony.
Was it no fly zone or something?
So yeah, there's like temporary like air restrictions, like 1 hour before the game, during the game, and then 1 hour after the game.
Okay.
So like if I'd been flying during that time, I'd be in like serious trouble. But it was like 3 hours before the game, we were just tailgating, but I was like half a mile away. So I'd gone, and usually though, like the thing that annoyed me was like the drone software usually prohibits you from flying if there's like some sort of like reason you can't.
Okay.
Usually, well that's like, so I thought, because I'd gone and filmed at Penn.
It shows you, like if like an area is like a no
It
fly
like won't
zone.
even let you take off. So, because once I was filming at Penn State and I was like, oh, let me get some drone shots, and I wasn't able to get any because the software wasn't even letting me take off. So I was like, well, let me see. The software was letting me take off. I was like, well, I guess I'm allowed to. I was not allowed to. And I was already flying it back, my drone back, because I'd got my shot. I was like, oh, this is so sick. Like, I got a great shot of the stadium. This looked great on my video. And like, I'm in the process of flying it back, and there's like a cop that comes up. He's like, are you the one flying that drone? I was like, like, I'm like holding the control. Like, I can't like say anything. He's like, I was like, yeah. And he like immediately had me like land it. And then I was like talking to like several like police officers for like an hour, and then I actually recently got a call from the officer saying that like no charges will be filed, which is like so clutch, no fines, but they did confiscate my drone.
And they won't give it back?
No. So like now I have to just call like I don't know, like the evidence department and give them like the number of my case, and then they'll ship it back to me. But I've not had a drone for like 6 weeks because the like Ohio police took
Do
it.
they erase what's on it?
I don't know yet.
Yeah,
I'm hopefully not. I am like praying. I do have like a video on my phone of what it looked like on my monitor.
Okay.
Of like, so I can like, I know the shot I had, but I don't know if I'll actually
It'll
get the
be there
footage.
when
I'm hoping they don't delete it, but I feel like they're within their rights to delete it, but I don't know.
Is there like a password or anything?
No,
Like,
I
it's just,
honestly,
like, in-
well, I wanted to pop out the SD card of the drone before I gave it to them until the police officer was like, yeah, we're just going to take a look at the footage you have, and then from there, like, deem whether or not, like, you know, like, you're in violation of anything. And that's when I was like, nope, I'm not going to sneakily pop any SD card out.
They'll notice that.
Because I was like, you can take my drone as long as I get the footage. But no, then I didn't want to risk it. So that's all encapsulated in a YouTube video on my YouTube. But yeah, that was my trip to Ohio State. But honestly, mostly everybody was really nice there.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the officers gave me a break. So,
Where'd you stay when you were there?
I stayed at like it was like an average, like, what's it called? Like La Quinta, like hotel or something. And then like 3 of my friends came with me. So it was good. We had like a little tailgate set up. Then I went and filmed, and then came home. But it was like 14 hours of driving that weekend. So that was like, that's kind of the stuff when it comes to like making content that can be like exhausting. Is like we drove 7 hours after classes on Friday, stayed at a hotel. We woke up at like 3:30 a.m. to get early into the tailgate lots, and then set up our tailgate. Then I went to film from like 11 to like 5 until like after the game was done, And then from there, we like packed up our stuff, and then I drove 7 hours home. And so like that was kind of the thing, is like a trip like that, like
And then
is like
editing
expensive
afterwards.
and costly. Yeah, and then I was like, I need to get this video out ASAP. So I like
Yeah.
woke up next day and just edited, like, so that can be like exhausting, but I mean, I think it's a great video, so like it's all good.
Gotta check it out on his
We're gonna
YouTube.
check it out, yeah.
Yeah, check it out. And what's
Yeah.
the YouTube handle?
It's just No Shorts on
No
YouTube, yeah. So
I always call you No Pants. I get it confused, and I'm like looking for you, and I'm like,
No
I can't, I
shorts,
don't see
right, gotta
anyone,
get it.
and then I
No
realized what it was.
yeah, actually, a question I have for you is like, how did you find me?
TikTok.
But like, how like was
I'm
there like
trying
a
to
video
think.
you remember? Like, were you searching for stuff?
I
to
think
find
I
people?
might have just typed Philadelphia because I kind of sometimes do that, and you might have popped up that way. And then one of the first videos I saw was the Ohio State thing.
Okay, cool.
I saw the other one where you're like in Pittsburgh on a food contest or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
What
Oh,
was
yeah.
the food contest? Was it hot
So
dogs
it's
or-
this thing in Pickles.
Pickles.
Picklesburg. It's in Pittsburgh. It's like the world's largest pickle festival.
I just saw a video
Oh,
about
wow.
that.
Yeah, it's actually like kind of insane. There's like 100,000 people, or maybe even more, that like attend. Like the event kept getting so big that they had to like keep moving it, and it keeps like growing so much. But it's like all things
Yeah,
pickle,
like ice cream,
Yeah.
like all kinds of
like
stuff.
ice cream, popsicles, pizza, beer, everything. So I did a whole video where I ate, like I found like the weirdest pickle foods I could find there. It was probably like 9 or 10 foods I tried, and then I competed in the pickle juice drinking competition, which is like
Oh,
a
wow.
quart of pickle juice, and like you just chug it as fast as you can. I finished second in my round, but that didn't I didn't qualify for the championship, which I was fine with because I want to do it again. Yeah, and then that's again like another thing about content was like, it's a great festival, but honestly I had a horrible experience because I
Really?
was like actively trying to find the weirdest pickle foods so I can like review them.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then I had to compete in drinking like a whole quart of pickle juice. I actually threw it up.
Yeah, the salt. Oh my god.
I like finished it, and once I saw that like I didn't win, I was like, no need for me to keep this down. I
Yeah.
instantly threw it up. So like, again, like wasn't the most fun of days. I think it made some good content, but yeah, like that's kind of,
Where do you like get the like? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you-
yeah, it's all good.
Where do you like get the like ideas to make content? I mean, driving to Pittsburgh's kind of like a hike if you think
Yeah.
about it, but like the idea is really cool. Like you're not gonna find a bigger pickle festival locally.
Yeah.
in
So I
there.
mean, that's the idea with my content, is just like showcase the coolest stuff in Pennsylvania. So it's honestly a hard thing to try to find so many of these things because they're not super like
Yeah.
marketed or popular because they're local events. And that's kind of what my goal is with my page, is to like make these like, local events way more popular, because a lot of them, like Picklesburg, are like really, really cool. But yeah, I think I had seen the pickle juice drinking contest the year before, and then I was like, oh, I need to do that next year. So like it was on my calendar.
do you actually like pickles?
Oh my god.
I actually do, although I took like a really long break from like eating
Eating
anything
them after
pickles
that?
after that. Like now, if it's like on a burger, sure, but like, yeah, I needed a break from that. But I mean, that trip wasn't too bad because I have some family like that live like around Pittsburgh. So yeah, it was again like a long drive, but I've gotten quite used to that for like making videos at this point.
Do you get paid anything when you do that? Or?
That's kind of the thing about like, also about making content. I feel like 90 to 95% of the things I film don't make me money, but they kind of open a lot of doors for you. Like for the first like 2.5, 3 years I made content, I was pouring in like hundreds of dollars into like gear and like traveling trips and not making any money back. But then like last year, I got hired to do a documentary for a restaurant called Bacon Bacon in South Philly. They should be opening within like a couple weeks, if not
Okay.
sooner.
That's awesome.
So it's like a year-long documentary I've done for them. So like I got hired to do that. Then I got a couple brand deals, during my sophomore year, and then just like certain client work too, because like now I have like a nice camera, so like I can usually reach out to people, and then once they see that like you have a following, like it gives you some credibility. You can get on the phone with them, and then it's like, okay, we'll take some photos or video of our food and stuff. So yeah, like that's kind of something like my parents always ask me. They're like, oh, so you drove like 4 hours for this one video and spent like all this money on it, and did you get paid? It's like, no, I didn't. But then there's gonna be other experiences where
Yeah, like the
that like
experience
generate themselves.
and
So like,
network.
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty hopeful by the time I graduate. Like, it really should be. It kind of, the way the revenue will all break down kind of is like up in the air, but like I'm pretty confident like by the time I graduate, like this is kind of what I can do full time. But it is kind of hard to explain to people sometimes, like, oh, you spent like $1,000 on that video. It's like, yeah, it's like, you get any money from it? Like, no, but it was great content. Like, that's usually, you know, what it is. But that's how like you build your following. That's how like you build kind of like your credibility, and then it opens the door for so many opportunities. Kind of like this right here.
Like us, like,
you know,
it
like,
takes a little while to get going, and then
That's time, money, effort, like,
some things don't make you
everything.
any money, but then they do 5 years from now.
but
Like,
that's kind of the thing, is like, if you try to look at everything super transactionally, like you're
Yeah.
never going to make it as a creator, because you have to do so many things for free. But, you know, you're going to be able to, like, I know, you know, I know right now if someone were like, ask me for a documentary, I'd be like, okay, well, depending on how long, I'd be like, okay, well, that's got to be at least like 10 or 20K. Like, I've already, you know, have like proof, like, you know, I already have like done something like that. Like, look at all this other social media content. Like, if you want me to take time away from that to do this, I can do that well for you. But again, like, you know, you would need to pay like a ton more money. So that's I think the biggest thing to being a creator, is like, make the focus on like making as good of content as possible, and that is going to open the doors for you to make money.
There was another creator that was, I think, really big. I forget where they originated from. It was actually here in Philadelphia. I think his name was like Aiden or something. They're part of like a dual podcast. I can't remember exactly what, I'm trying to like remember. But they originated from here, actually, creating content videos, and I think they went to school locally here. And then they like ended up kicking it off like really well, and because of their content creation, they like made so much revenue based on being able to do it full time.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's super fun. So like, yeah, I think it can be hard to explain to like, I think it's typically like older people, like my aunts and uncles, or like my
Like, why are you
parents, were,
doing
like,
this?
that like don't get like the time investment when when there's like nothing directly like coming back. But I don't know, you just keep making videos, it's gonna open up your network, and like, at this point now, like, I do see money coming in, which is great, but yeah, there was like 3 years where it was just
Nothing.
like, I just had like a lot of belief that like there was like a market for, you know, local content creation.
How about TikTok? Does TikTok pay you, or
As of very recently, yes.
like very little, or like
They
how does
have like a new program where if you, any videos that are over 1 minute long,
that work? Okay.
you can make money off of based on the views. Now it depends, kind of like, I think like 1 million views can be anywhere between like $700 and like $1,200, depending on like how many of those like were given to people on the For You page. I think people have to watch like 3 seconds for it to count as a view. So there's like certain like things, but now, yeah, there is some money I make from TikTok, but the tough thing is like, they've got to be minute videos or
So they have to
longer.
be I thought
which,
they
like-
Offer like, to make, so if you do 20 seconds, it's just, you can't get anything.
No, which like,
and the shorter videos do better, don't they usually?
it depends. I mean, like, yeah, basically, usually like once a month I'll have like one good video that'll like be over 1 minute long, and like the rest are kind of shorter. So honestly, to me, it's better than nothing, because now I know if there's like a really, really cool video opportunity, and I'm like, hey, like that could definitely be something I can make like a 1 minute long video for. Now it's not only just like, oh, it'll be good content. Now it's like, oh, wait, no, I can actually like make my money back. Like, because sometimes like traveling is like a huge cost.
Yeah.
Fast.
I
Yeah.
think YouTube can also be like a really good platform. I think the payout's actually better than TikTok.
Oh yeah, but yeah, the tough thing is like building that like YouTube audience, which
Yeah.
I've been like slowly doing. But
That's
yeah, I
more
mean,
long form, like minutes long. Like, I don't know, like, do you do videos on YouTube at all?
yeah, there's like the Ohio State one. There's not a lot, but probably my best one is like either the Ohio State one. There was one kid at SJU who like runs an entire like chicken sandwich restaurant out of his dorm room. I like met him like at a party like at SJU, and then I was like,
Holy cow.
and then like a few months later I like saw he was always like posting like a menu on his story. I was like, okay. I was like, do you just like run this out of your dorm room? He's like, yep, I got like an air fryer and like a mini fridge. And I was like, yo, like, would you mind if I like come and like video like your whole thing? He was like super down. And then like I went there, and there's like, that's probably like one of the best like retention videos I have on my
Really?
YouTube, because it's just like you see this whole operation, and like the people on like SJU's campus like love the
it.
sandwich. I tried, it was like really good. So like it's like stuff like that I try to kind of like find and feature.
Okay.
You know, I had one YouTube video I posted like probably like a week or two ago of like there's a guy in Pennsylvania who has like a emotional support alligator.
I saw those videos of yours.
Yeah, so like he tried to get into the Phillies game, which was like a whole thing because one of the players wanted him to come to the Phillies game, but he was like supposed to come before, but then he had gotten stuck in traffic, so by the time he got there, like they weren't gonna let him in. So that was like a whole mess. So at some point, he should, like Wally the alligator, should be going to a Phillies game or to at least like meet the players.
So he never got in?
No, not into the Phillies game. But then I'd also done like a separate video, like around Harrisburg, like where he's at, where I like walked around with like Wally, like the alligator, and like I had like Wally on a leash and stuff. Actually, No Shorts sponsors Wally now.
Really?
Yeah, we still have to like film like the videos and stuff for it, but I'm the official sponsor of Wally the alligator, so that's kind of exciting. So yeah, it's like stuff like that, like the Pigglesburg video, like where I try all the foods. Like I made a TikTok, but I also made like a longer form YouTube.
That's better for like longer format, I think. If you do like a whole event or something, like you can only squeeze so much into like a minute. So YouTube's definitely
Yeah.
better for that.
It's kind of like post on TikTok, and like that's kind of like my main platform. But then anytime there's like a video where I'm like, oh, that's like enough where I can make a whole YouTube video, then I'll do it. So it's not like I upload like once a week or anything like that.
So the one I see, you have some where you just like randomly come up to people on the street.
Yeah, that's like man on the street stuff. I don't love doing it, but sometimes I could do it well, and like sometimes you can get funny reactions.
Does anyone ever say like, get away from me? Like,
Honestly, so that's like a weird thing because I thought that's what it would be. Like when I started doing man on the street stuff, I was like really nervous to come up to people because like I don't know, like there, you know, people like want their privacy and stuff. So I never wanted to be like an asshole, like YouTube pranker kind of like guy. Like that's not me at all. So like that was something I was always really nervous about. But honestly, people love being in front of the camera. Like if I go like by the stadiums or even like around Center City and I'm filming stuff, asking people questions, like 90 to 95% of people will either respond to me or like just be like, oh, like it's like no thanks. But I've very, very rarely gotten like someone where like they're like annoyed that you even approach them, because usually like I'll try to like approach like cameras down, then you're like, hey, can I ask you a question, and then the camera goes up. So like I always try to be like mindful of like not trying to be an asshole. But yeah, like it always blows my mind like how much people like enjoy the opportunity to like get on camera, because like for me, I'm used to it, so like, but every time like I usually go and film with someone, they're like really excited to like be able to say something funny like on camera.
I thought it was Aiden Ross that started from here. Maybe I was wrong. I thought he did pranks at local colleges. Maybe that's different.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. That's why I was like, I'm sure there is. What's like one of the biggest things that you found to be like the hardest, or maybe like difficulties you've realized since being a content creator that like the general public probably won't know?
I mean, it just takes a lot of time. Like that's the biggest thing. Like, you know, I think one of the, for example, I did a video quite recently with a group of guys, like a group of creators. They call themselves Ligma Chi. But what we did was we got a pumpkin, carved it out kind of like a jack-o'-lantern, and we put it on top of the Rocky statue.
Oh wow.
Which like it was all over local news. I mean, like ABC, CBS, like NBC, like it was all on like their local news. Like Sylvester Stallone himself, like the Rocky, like posted it on his Instagram.
Oh wow.
Like the art museum posted it on their Instagram. So like everybody loved it. But you know, like for example, a video like that, which is 1 minute on my TikTok, you know, it took us about probably an hour or so to plan. Then you know, we had to go to the Rocky statue, like measure it out, make sure we got a pumpkin that was big enough. That probably takes another like hour or so. Then we drove all the way to Pumpkin Patch and go search, like find one that's big enough. That's probably another hour. Then we go carve it. That's probably like 2 hours. Yeah. Then we actually go place it, you know, like another hour or so. Then the editing process probably took me like 4 hours. So that's like not even like the most time intense video, but that 1 minute video took 10 hours.
So much like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think like that's probably the biggest thing. It's just it takes a lot of time to come up with ideas and then execute them. I find like that was one of the most fun videos I've ever filmed. But again, like and it's not. I wouldn't even say that video was that time intensive for like how big of a project it was. But still, like 1 minute video of putting a pumpkin on the Rocky statue took 10 hours to like put together from the idea, pulling it off, and then the editing.
Do you edit all of your stuff yourself, or do
Yeah.
you like outsource anything? It's all
No, no, it's like all done by me. I mean, occasionally I'll have someone like cameraman and stuff for me, but yeah, for now it's all me. Although honestly, even as I grow, like even if I do get to the point where I can hire an editor, I do feel like I would only have them like help sort footage, help organize footage, but I kind of want to really continue to grow on my editing skills and like learning how to tell a story through video, because I want to know that like the storytelling aspect of what I do like never can be replaced,
Yeah.
or like never
unique to
never
you.
can like go away. So like definitely like I take a lot of pride in like editing and being able to like do that.
Okay.
Are you gonna film the Philly Christmas Village?
Actually, I was just thinking about that today in class. Was like I should
That's like
go
a pretty big one.
Yeah, I should go to each stand, see what like everyone's like selling, and then put a video together being like, this is, all the different like options available at the Christmas Village. So yeah, but that's honest. It's hard to like stay on top of like all the things that can be happening. Because for example, like I live in Philly, but my account is all Pennsylvania. So I try to do things all across the state, but being that I'm like in the city and we're all the way like southeastern Pennsylvania, it can be pretty hard to do everything across the state. So I try to do my best, but I'll get comments a lot of like people being like, he only does Philly, and it's like, yeah, like it's kind of
It's local.
it's like
yeah.
it's like the most I can do, and I get it too,
It's
because
cost
like
efficient too.
yeah, I mean it's just like not possible to drive like 6 hours each weekend, like
To Erie.
like go because and to Erie would be like that would be like 10 hours because you got to drive 5 hours there and then 5 hours back. That's kind of the thing Philly people don't always think of when it's like going on
both
trips.
ways.
It's like it's both ways.
Far.
Like when I'm going to Ohio State for Ohio State Penn State, it's not just the 7 hours it takes to get there. I have to think about the 7 hours it takes to get back. So that's kind of the biggest thing is like things can take time, but it is what it is, and I'm trying to like keep getting better at like finding new opportunities.
We got a listing. Someone wanted to sell their house today, and they were in Somerset, Pennsylvania. So I had no idea where that was. I looked it up. It's like 3.5 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's 3.5 hours up and 3.5 hours back. So I'm like, how much is the house? Like, because if it was huge,
Yeah, then
maybe I'd consider it. It was 120,000.
Yeah,
So
I feel like
it
you
just
could
wasn't
find better opportunities.
wasn't worth it.
Too far
Yeah.
for that.
You ever have opportunities that like you get that like you don't know if you're going to utilize, but there might not be good opportunities, like in the content creator world?
What do you mean?
Like you ever get like offers or proposals that you actually don't entertain or you don't like do?
Yeah, like how do you select what opportunities you'd want to do versus one that like you wouldn't want to do?
Yeah. It's pretty simple, I would say. Like, for the most part, honestly, I'm not at the point where I'm getting like tons of requests for stuff. So I would say like a good amount of the stuff like people say like usually like I'll be down to do. Like when you were like, hey, could you do? I'm a like local realtor. I do a podcast. I was like, hell yeah, like let's just figure out a time. But then, for example, I did a video for like a chicken like stand. It's called the Sod Side Chicken, and it's like in like northeast Philly, I
I
think.
think I've heard it or something.
Yeah, so like I did a video for them. It like did really well, and then I also like got hired to do like a video for their like grand opening. So like I filmed like people like waiting in line and everything. It's like a great spot. But after that video like went out, I kid you not, like at least like 10 to 15 like hot chicken shop stands were like, hey, could you come by? Like we'll give you free food. And it's like, like one, like there was kind of two reasons I like said no to that. One was just like, I don't want to become like the Philly chicken shop reviewer. Like I'm gonna do it once, maybe I'll do it twice for someone, like if I think what they do is really cool, but no, like my focus is Pennsylvania and Philly. And then on top of that is like, there's been a handful of times where people will like offer you like free food, and it's like, I don't I'd rather you not even offer to pay, like,
Yeah.
because like $40 is like that's not really worth it. And then again, like usually the biggest request I usually deny is like food places that just like clearly aren't very like unique or different, and they just want someone to come through. Like if it's just like a regular ass pizza stand, why am I gonna showcase that to my followers? I'm trying to find like the coolest stuff. Now if it's like if the place looks crazy, I don't even care about getting paid. I just want to make good content.
So I have a recommendation if you want to utilize it. So I've heard like half and half on this, and I think it might be a little biased because you're a guy, but the Ritz-Carlton actually just opened up a pink cafe for Philadelphia. And
I'll actually write that down.
Right there in right there in Philadelphia, you have Christmas Village right next door. So I've heard a lot of very mixed reviews, and I think that would definitely be something that.
What was mixed?
I've heard good and bad reviews. Like I've heard it's really good to be there, and it's like the first pink little cafe, and then some of them saying that it's actually not worth it going. So maybe that would be something.
Yeah, no.
Worth trying.
That's
for
like
the women, at least in Philly, I'm sure.
No, that's like been another tough thing about like me making content is like when you're talking about like Pennsylvania or Philly, it's like a lot of my content, like I think like 80% of my followers are like 75 are like guys, which like makes sense because like I do like a lot of sports, like I'll do like food, like it's not, well food's more like universal, but like the content tends to skew to like something a guy would like, but I hope as I grow that like I get like a team of people and like also have like a group of women that like focuses on like stuff like girls would want, because like I don't like, that's not something I would really know, and I wouldn't be able to like accurately like review stuff or know like what's gonna be interesting, but it's definitely something like as I think of like No Shorts continuing to grow is like like you got to think of like the other 50% of the population that like also like live here. But yeah, I mean, I'm always like open to kind of do anything, but
I think they do have food or drinks or something there.
yeah, no, I wrote it down. Like I'll look into it.
Check it out,
Yeah.
So then so you've been doing this podcast, and you said like you've heard some like wild stories that are like, you know, like you've had a bunch of different guests. What's some like the interesting stuff that's happened on this podcast?
So the first one was I traveled to Staten Island to interview a real estate agent who kind of got viral on social media because of his videos. They're just, you would think he's on like The Sopranos or in the Mafia, like, but he's a realtor, but he's like real, and he just like tells it the way he is, and he has a real deep accent. And when I contacted him, he was like, "You're coming to Staten Island. I'm not coming there." And I thought I was gonna die, basically. But we went out there, and I mean, he had some good stories just about like things he did in the past, his past jobs. What else I'm trying to think who else I've had that had some crazy. I mean, I think most of the crazy stories are actually from me in real estate, and things that have happened to me in real estate. Like yesterday, I don't even know if I should go into it, but I had like a client like rip up the paperwork in front of the title agent because they had to escrow a certain amount of money, which was fair because they never got like a gas meter reading. And the guy, like, I thought the cops were going to come to a closing.
So was that, it was at the closing?
It was at the closing, and like he just flipped out, like angry, like mad, like, and hopefully he doesn't have social media, but I don't think he does.
I feel like by the time this comes out,
it'll be a different, exactly. I have many clients that have done it. It did.
You're good. You're safe.
this point.
You're safe.
What are you gonna do now?
I'm trying to think what else. I think most of the stories were like mine, or like other agents on our team have had some crazy stories. I've learned a lot through some of the guests. Like I learned all about how you can make money on social media, like promoting clothing and
like
couches and
Yeah.
and like
Amazon
some people that's their full-time job. That's all they do.
Are you really thinking about making like a line for No Shorts?
Like maybe, but like the issue is, if I make merch, I want it to be like really, really high quality. Cause like, if you look at some of them, like I do have like one line of hoodies that I did before that actually were like pretty good. Like they're like good hoodies, But then the first ones I ever did are like trash. Like I have them like in a box like in my room, and like I look at them and like I always like kind of laugh because it's like a representation of like where I started, so it's kind of like cute and wholesome. But it's like I look at them like, God, these are so trash. And some of my friends sometimes will still wear them, which is like so awesome because like they're like not really that nice. But yeah, so that's what I was kind of saying before this, where right now I'm looking to like find like really high quality like hoodies, and then I'm then gonna get them like embroidered. But right now it's not a huge thing I think of, because if you want to get really nice merch, which is kind of my goal right now, it takes time and money to like kind of find a good supplier, then try to like figure all that out. So it's not something I'm like I care like that much about, I would say. But
I think it'd be good because like you do a lot of content and you do a lot of traveling, and like you mentioned, you really take that time to like travel to find those places and those niches where you're like, this is super unique, it's a great event, or where you go, it's like different. And I think it's good because like your fans, I mean, when you have like a big following, you're gonna have fans who want to see your content, enjoy your content just as much as you do creating it. And I think that they want to like buy into what your essentially your brand is. And you're a student at Temple, like you represent Philadelphia, you're ambitious and you're motivated, you're like pursuing a career. And so why wouldn't you want your fans to like support you there with that?
yeah, that's why I've been trying to get into the hoodies, and especially I feel like it's mostly like it's cold like most of the year, and like especially that's kind of the point we're at now. And yeah, I want to have like really nice hoodies, so that way I don't feel like I hate feeling gimmicky. Like I wouldn't want to like I wouldn't want to hit like tell someone to like, yo, hit up my store, and it's like all done third party, and it's like it's like an all right hoodie. Like I want someone to be able to get it and be like, holy shit, this is like the nicest hoodie I have. So
I mean, even your friends like support and love what you do and like appreciate you for like the content you create, and they'll still wear the like first brand hoodies you've ever created.
Yeah,
the test ones.
That's the thing. People do tell me about the merch, and yeah, the only reason I've kind of like strayed away from it is because of like the time it takes. But it's something like just this week on like my planner, it's like one of the things I have written down to figure out like a supplier, or at least to order from a bunch of suppliers to figure out like what hoodie I want. But yeah, I think a lot of people have told me about merch, so it's definitely something
What's
like
your
I want to do.
major in school?
I'm a finance major at Temple, which has like nothing to do with making videos.
So I went to law school and hated it. Never did it after like a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I like the business classes. I like that they're very like objective. Like I could not do like any sort of like arts major, film major, because like your relationship with the teacher actually plays like a role in your grade. It's not like huge, but it's a thing. Like if you're writing a paper for a teacher, like they'll see your name, they'll know kind of how you are in class, and like even if you're saying things that are really smart, like in their head they're reading it in like your voice. So if they think you're dumb or like they don't think you're that smart, like it's gonna knock off a couple points. Like all those majors just like are more like subjective to like the teacher. But I like the fact that it doesn't matter whether I participate a lot, it doesn't matter what the teacher thinks of me. Like if I'm taking a math test, if I'm taking like an accounting class, my grade's my grade, and there's kind of no like negotiation. So like if I'm doing bad, it's completely my fault. But again, like I also like want to have like my own business. Actually, I already have my own like company.
Yeah, you're already a business.
No Shorts Media LLC. Yeah. But yeah, like once I graduate and I kind of want to like take that on full time, I want to be able to think of it from a business perspective. I want to be able to like do most of the accounting for my own business. I want to be able to like do the taxes like and everything. So like that's something I've been looking up a ton like this whole past like couple of months. Is just like what qualifies as like a tax write-off and stuff like that. So like that was something I got watched like a ton of.
You definitely need like a good accountant. Like
watch like
really help you.
We've been talking about that a lot.
Yeah, I like watch so many YouTube videos and like articles and stuff, and I feel like I have like a somewhat of a sense of like okay, like now like if I buy a camera, like that can like be written off, like like new computer stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of why I really continue to stay with my business degree or like my finance degree, even though I don't really plan on being like an accountant or like doing anything really in finance after college, but I like the business background it gives me,
It's a
so
good
that
foundation.
so I can keep, kind of like I can use all that once I like become a creator full time. And then like if for some reason I want to stop, which I don't see happening, but like if for some reason I do, then like, okay, I have a finance background that's incredibly versatile, and I can, show up to a company and be like, hey, I managed my own business for all these years, I did X, Y, Z, and I do have a finance degree. And now all of a sudden, like, I'm like still a good candidate, even though I probably could care a little bit more about school. And like, I'm not doing like a ton of like internships or anything outside. It's no shorts is kind of what I do, like
Yeah.
outside of school.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I mean, we're entrepreneurs, so yeah, we understand. It's
Yeah.
a business building thing.
So what can a week look like for you guys? Because I feel like it's not like I imagine not every day is the same. Like,
So yeah, no 2 days the same. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and like, sometimes with a plan that just totally changes. Sometimes without a plan that just turns into a crazy day. And then there's some days where I don't do that much at all. It's like, that's the hard part. Like, you never know what's going to happen. But if someone calls right now, I could pick it up and they could say, come to my house right now to list my house. And like, you never really know.
Or days
But
where you
it-
wake up, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's packed to the brim with stuff. Like people wanting to see all kinds of places.
All over the
or, like, oh,
place
come meet me here. Let's do this. Like networking, like everything.
Yeah.
So it can just
Networking
change
important
instantly.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is that what you would say is like the hardest part of like what you do, or like what would you say is like the
I
hardest?
mean, the hardest part is probably generating the leads that turn into sales, especially when you first start. It takes a little while to like get going, and it's like the type of job that I think gets easier as you're doing it longer.
The networking, the like
But,
getting
yeah.
yourself out there, learning, you're seeing what works, what doesn't work. Like even in content creating, you see like this algorithm works for me and this does not. So you just base it off of like this works, this doesn't work, and you just adapt.
Yeah.
And then with the way the market's been, because there hasn't been like a crazy amount of houses for sale, not so much right now, like during Christmas, but like a couple months ago, especially in the suburbs, if like you had a buyer who wanted to buy a house, there was like 8 million people trying to get this one house that's available, and like no matter how good of an agent you were, only one person gets the house.
Just like the luck of the draw.
So like
at
you
some
kind of felt
point.
like you
Yeah.
were spinning your wheels, and like you're going to get this client a house eventually, but you were wasting a lot of time having not too much control over whether they're going to get that. I mean, you had some control and there was ways to do it, but that became frustrating.
Yeah, it's like competitive. It's market
yeah.
based. So
I feel like that's somewhat. I mean, I could be wrong in this analogy, but I feel like it's similar to. Like, would you say like 90 to like 95% of the things you do doesn't directly lead you to money?
Oh, yeah.
But then it's
Exactly.
like those like
Exactly.
couple
It's
sales
It's
that like
a lot of
make
it
your
is
income
just-
for the year.
Like all the
Exactly.
videos like we'll put out, it's
Yeah.
like it takes time to do all that, and you don't like instantly get like a client right away, or you don't get paid for that. But say like months from now, someone sees your video and they reach out to you and they want to buy a house. Like
Yeah.
So it's just putting that investment in, and then
Yeah.
eventually get someone maybe.
Yeah.
like my last TikTok video wasn't even related to real estate, but I got like 300,000 views on it.
Yeah.
Just because it's the niche and it just worked in that video, it just pushed.
Seeing your
For
face,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And then do you two have like specific roles like within
within
like
his team.
yeah, or is it kind of just like
I mean, we're newer agents and we're pretty young too, so like
Yeah.
like Brett has kind of been like the leader and he helps guide us and like
Yeah.
he has a lot of experience and like he's shown us like how to do things when it comes to running our business. So like he's kind of our like helpful guidance when working in the industry, and like you want to have someone you can reference check for, like even in content creating you ask for references. So you want to work with people
Yeah.
or work at least under someone who's able to or has knowledge or previous knowledge of like what to expect. Because last thing you want is like everybody's new, nobody knows, and we're all just like
Yeah.
figuring it out, which essentially is part of it. We all do learn from each other.
But
so.
we all have the same position, though, basically.
Yeah.
We're all just
Yeah.
realtors.
Everyone's business
Yeah.
is different. Everyone
Yeah.
gets business
And-
differently.
And like I've been doing it the longest out of any of them, which isn't even that long. And every single day I learn something new because you just never know what's going to happen.
So it's kind of just like you have like you just have things to accomplish, and like together you guys just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
We learn from like our mistakes with each other, and we talk about it and like, hey, what could have I done better in this situation? And then you just do it better, or even you yourself hear about it and you're like, oh, I have to make sure I don't make that same mistake.
Yeah.
So it's helpful.
So I saw your video on Wawa Pizza.
Oh yeah.
Was that a
No,
was
like it just is.
was
bad.
that like a paid thing, or you just did that on your own?
No, I just.
Because I just had it last week, so I want to
Well,
hear.
what did you think?
Okay, so the story I had behind it is I was rushing to my son's hockey game, like way out in the suburbs, and I was starved. So I pulled into Wawa, and I didn't want anything at Wawa, but then I see the signs for the pizza, and I'm like, maybe I'll just try the pizza. I don't even usually eat pizza in general, but it was all over the place. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So it took a while. First of all, I was late for the game, waiting for Wawa Pizza.
Dude, like around how long did it take?
I mean, I guess it's not really that long, but considering you're at Wawa, you're thinking it's going to be good. 10 minutes, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's like around.
Yeah.
We like timed ours,
And-
like that was like.
Yeah,
something, like,
so like I was late, so I had to like rush to the game, and it was dark, and I opened the pizza, and it looked, in the dark at least, looked great. Like actually really looked good. And it was so hot, like the hottest pizza I've ever had.
yeah, that was like another thing.
Yeah,
we
so I
experienced.
pull it up, and the cheese is just dripping all over my hands, and I'm like in the car trying to drive.
Yeah.
And I ate it, and it tastes, I don't know. So like to me, the taste wasn't that bad. It had a weird seasoning on the crust or something.
Yeah.
But the next day, I just felt horrible, like for like a good day and a half, and I only had 3 pieces of it.
Well, that was kind of like that was almost exact. I'm glad like now I don't feel like a fraud for like saying I don't like it, because that was like practically my experience.
You're mixed, 50-50. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, I think if you're like really hungry for pizza and you happen to be inside of a Wawa, it's an
doable.
all right choice.
Yeah.
But like the tough thing is like I think the pizza's like $11 or $12.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's like an expensive pizza, like comparative to like other options you get for like the size it is. Like a Domino's, I could get 2 pizzas for like $6 each. So it's like I'm looking at like Wawa pizza and I'm like, yeah, like I took a bite and it wasn't like horrible. Like it's kind of like dining hall pizza. That's kind of like the way I thought about it. But like for the price, it's like I would never go out of my way to like a Wawa to get pizza. Like it would be like only in that situation where it's like, I guess you don't want anything else at Wawa, and like I don't know. I thought it was terrible. I don't. I just don't. I'm just shocked with like they spent a lot of time working on developing it. They are marketing the hell out of it. I'm fine paying like $11, $12 for a pizza, but like, can it be good? Like, I don't know. Like that was my opinion, and that's kind of with all my reviews of like food specifically. I always try to like not be super harsh. Like I don't always like. I'm never looking to shit on something. Like I want to give good reviews to places, but like if something's not good, like I can't say in a video, hey, like this is good, because then someone's gonna go try it and be like, well, okay, he just lied, and then now like they probably don't like my page anymore, and then they'll definitely never check anything else out that I say. So it's like, and I don't want to like congratulate someone for making like
crappy pizza,
like a bad like food. Like like I have nothing against Wawa. I'm just like the pizza just kind of
Wawa's
sucks.
not gonna sponsor this video.
That's fine.
What are your top favorite 3 restaurants in Philadelphia?
Restaurant. I feel like I don't go out to a lot of restaurants.
Or like places to eat. Like it doesn't even necessarily need to be a restaurant. Or just, what are like your favorite places
on campus,
to eat when it comes to Philadelphia?
depending, I guess.
Let me think.
or just give us one.
Well, I'll give you one. And actually,
One that's just
it hasn't even opened yet.
Okay.
And it's called Bacon Bacon. I already mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
I've been doing a documentary for them for a year.
Okay.
And when I say like I will only like really go out of my way to recommend something if I really like it, like this spot is great. I've been like behind the scenes with the owner Justin for like over 12 months. I was there before they even bought the building. Like I was there at like the realtor's office when they closed. I was there, inside the building, like when they're renovating, like getting a new roof. They're, like resanding the floors. They're getting a completely new bar top. Like the kitchen looked disgusting when they first bought the place, and so they took out all the equipment, brought brand new equipment. Like that's kind of why it ended up taking like over a year to kind of like renovate and open up. but like their food's incredible. They already have like 2 food trucks, so I've tried a bunch of their food before.
What kind of food is it?
So it's called bacon. So like a lot of everything kind of has like some sort of bacon like twist. So like, you know, sandwiches, like they'll have burgers, they'll have, I mean, it's like essentially like a normal restaurant, but like,
Everything has
you know,
bacon
like
on
they
it.
have like custom, like 2 custom bacon, like somewhat kind of bacon flavored beers. Like they have, you know, like special like bacon infused jams that are like on some of the burgers. Like they take a lot of time to kind of like bacon-fy like all the stuff like on their menu. And then also if you are like vegetarian, vegan, like for their food trucks, they usually don't have like options, I think, but for the restaurant, they do have like vegetarian, vegan options. So like, cause like not everyone, and even like in Philly, like not everyone like will consume pork. So that is the one place I say like it's not open yet, but like
Good.
I'm so happy that like the people who like hire me to do a documentary also happen to be like an incredibly well-managed restaurant, which kind of makes sense that they would like also like take like, you know, they could have spent that money to like either pocket themselves or put back into the restaurant, and instead they were like, no, we want someone with a camera like following everything we do. Because like, I mean, when I say like I've followed every step of the process, like I have. Like I was in the car once and they were on the phone with one bank that like did not grant them a loan, and like the bank's just like, yeah, like we're not gonna accept this loan. And then like I'm sitting in the car like, oh shit, like this guy doesn't get a loan, like
I don't get paid.
I don't have a documentary, like but like it all worked out and they should be opening soon. They're just waiting for like an approval from like the liquor board or something.
Yeah.
So that I would say like the one food spot that like I know like you would love if you like went there would be Bacon.
Where is it?
It's 11th and Ellsworth, so
okay.
it's like if you're looking at, it's like South Philly, like it's not far off Broad. It's like it's kind of like around Broad in Washington.
Okay.
So you could even like take the subway there and walk. It would just be a couple blocks. So yeah, it's like in a great location. Like I know that place is gonna continue to like grow and build.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm not just saying that because I'm doing a documentary. I could have easily just like kept my mouth shut. But like time and time again, like when I
not
go,
Wawa.
yeah, no,
Like,
like,
Wawa.
like when I saw like what they did. When you see like you'll see it. I'll upload like a whole video, like the whole documentary once it's done. But like what it looked like before to what it looks like now is like incredible. So I got very lucky that I got to like be part of to document something that actually was like really impressive, because it's gonna be like one of the best restaurants, definitely in Philly.
When is it
Cool.
open?
Like honestly, like as soon as the liquor board approves,
Oh,
like
so
they're
it's-
like it's like Justin had called me last week saying like, oh, we might open like this like Friday, and
Thanksgiving.
it was like the Friday before Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'm like traveling. And I was like, I really hope you don't open then.
Yeah.
Even though I know you've been trying to. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like as soon as like the liquor board approves, like they're good to go, because they have staff, they have everything's like renovated. So should be soon. I guess I'll send you a text
Yeah,
once
I
it's
wanna
up.
go.
But that's like a great spot
Is there
for sure.
like a grand opening? Or
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
We should go.
So when you get done school, Temple, where do you plan on living?
It depends. I think like if my roommates are still staying around Philly after college, I mean like they're all like really close friends of mine, so I definitely would probably just stay in the same place I'm at now. I was thinking honestly either like Fairmount or South Philly. I want to live like by the Italian market,
There's
like
the Italian market in South Philly.
because it's like for me,
and the food, like,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Walkable and a lot of food, and it's like if I could live somewhere where I can get like close to the Broad Street line, so I could be like
Go
like
visit
close to
your
the
favorite
subway,
restaurant.
and then also be like by the Italian market. Like, you know, you have so much food that's walkable. Like it's like, you know, it's a nice spot, and then even like close to stadium, stuff like that, like
Yeah.
close to the airport. And then Fairmount, just like there's a lot more like open space, like by the river, which is really pretty. Also like right by 76, so you can get like in and out of the city like pretty quick. So I would say like Fairmount area or like South Philly by like Italian Market. Those would be like my 2 spots.
Yeah.
If not like still around Temple.
Okay. And if you had to say one thing that you like the most about Philadelphia, what would it be?
I would say it's like big city benefits with like small town appeal, because you know you have like a major airport, you know it's like an American Airlines hub, so like traveling to and from Philly is like super easy. You have like your 4 major sports teams, you have like 1.5 million people, you know you have so much different like, you know, like cultures and food and stuff like that you would find in like in New York City. It's like not to like the grandness of New York City, but you're not paying New York City prices. It's easy to get in and out of the city. So like you have everything that like a massive city would have, but you have like a more like small town, like homey feel where you're not overwhelmed like you're in like this like massive city. Like it's not your LA, your Miami, your New York City, where it's like so overwhelming and massive. But you know, it's not like I don't know. Think of like any like city with like 150,000 people.
Yeah.
Like
Even like Pittsburgh,
yeah.
it was really small versus here.
So that I would say like that's the thing I love about Philly.
And what don't you like about Philly?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is just like I would just say there hasn't been enough of a focus on like trying to improve like people's lives. Like people will be like, oh, like crime's a problem in Philly, but the issue is like, you know, crime always correlates with like wealth. Like the people who are like in charge of like making sure people have like, you know, like good housing or like, you know, like minimum wage still being like $7.25 in PA is like nuts. Like that's not changed in like 40 years. Like, you know, if like corporate profits are just like going crazy, but people aren't making any more than they did in like the 1970s, well, how the fuck you expect people to like pay for rent that's, you know, ballooned by like 300%?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a national
So
problem.
yeah, it's like a
Majority
national
of the
thing.
time.
It's kind of hit Philly like, I feel like hard, but yeah, honestly, I just don't think there's enough of a focus on like, if we can improve the lives of like the people in our city, like stuff like crime will go down. And it's sad when like people will be like, oh, like crime is so bad, and they blame it on like, I feel like a lot of times like it'll get blamed on like everything but the problem. Like if like the citizens of Philly had, you know, the proper resources, if there was enough attention on like improving education, on, you know, I don't know, like good housing, or just like stuff like simple stuff like increasing minimum wage, or like, you know, if there was better public transportation, which Philly already does somewhat well, but if there was better public transportation, people could get, you know, more job opportunities. Like all that stuff increases, you know, like kind of like the wealth of the community, and like would instantly reduce crime. And instead, like, I think a lot of times it's like, oh, like, we'll just punish people who like do bad things. But in like the 70s or whatnot, you have like an entire generation of like Philadelphians growing up with like without fathers and whatnot, because like, you know, like weed is like over criminalized and like stuff like that, and like all that stuff has like generational impacts, which is like really unfortunate. So that's the thing I would say is like I wish people in power for the past like 50 years had, you know, placed more of an emphasis on like people's lives instead of just like, oh, like let's try to make more money, let's try to like just get a better like, you know, political like job or whatever it is.
Yeah, like strengthening all the neighborhoods in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and just like I think keeping things clean. Like it would be nice if like they spent more money on keeping stuff clean. Like if streets are clean, you know, less people are getting sick, you know, which means like more productivity, means more kids can go to school, you know. It means like it's nice to wake up and walk out and like you don't feel like you're like walking through shit, like stuff like that. And but like that's the thing, like stuff like that impacts crime, stuff like that, you know, impacts how people are feeling. But I feel like if you're like running for mayor, if you're running for whatever, like
and like Northern Liberties has been like built up within like the past couple of years, and like I feel like that's really helped strengthen like that area of the community where like they really cleaned it up a lot than what it used to be, based on like new construction. A lot of money was poured into it to like help that community. Yeah, no, I mean I definitely think it's like possible to like have like a clean Philadelphia, but you need enough people to start like caring about it. So that's I think I keep seeing Philly improve like year by year, but that would be my response to that.
Anyone else have any other
If you had to
questions?
pick one other city to live instead of here, what would it be? In the U.S.
Honestly, the first time I ever went to Pittsburgh was for Picklesburg, and I was like shocked at how like nice it was. I'd never been.
Yeah.
One of the things I would love to have is like Pittsburgh's kind of like in like kind of like a valley, so like you have all of these houses like on like a hill, and you get like, but there's so many of these houses that have like 10 out of 10 views of the city. Like I would love to be able to live in like one of those houses, to be able to like be close by the city, also have like an unreal view. And I think, I could be wrong, but like some students who go to Pitt, like some of them will have like 10 guys in like one of those houses, and like, you know, that'd be like a sick college house. Like you're just like overlooking the city. There's like 3 waterways connecting. It's just like so scenic. So Honestly, I could definitely see myself living. I honestly, especially if I keep doing like Pennsylvania content, I know for a fact in like the next 10 years I'll probably spend a year or two in Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. If you could give like, you're like a content creator in college, right? So if you could give like another creator that's looking to get into content creating, and they could also be in college or not, but what kind of advice would you give to anybody who's aspiring to be a content creator?
Yeah, number one, don't stop creating. Like, I mean, even me, I feel like I was able to kind of figure stuff out a little quicker because I'd done like Instagram and like social media a bit, like just growing up. But even like it took me like 3 years to just start making money. So like there was a lot of time and money that I spent before I even saw any sort of return. So you can't stop. Like you can't expect after like 1 year to have like figured it all out. Now you have like a following, now everything. And then number two is like, one, don't stop, and then number two, you have to like constantly try to look to improve. You can't keep posting the same style of content. It's something kind of like, it's like messed me up where like I would just stick to like one little format and never change. Like I do like weekly vlogs now, which I wish I had done starting my freshman year, because I have a feeling I'd have like a way like stronger, like more loyal fan base, because then they would be able to understand me more. So like stuff like that, like never stop improving, like never, like always look to like connect with other people, you know, try different stuff. So like as long as you never stop and you're constantly looking to improve, yeah, it might take you 5 to 10 years to take off, but that's kind of what it takes. Like everyone and their mom is trying some sort of social media thing. So like don't expect for it to work in 1, 2, 3 years. Like it's probably gonna take 5 to 10. So never stop, always work on improving. That would be like, if you do that, I think you'll definitely like at least have a full-time living doing this.
Cool. All right, I think we went too long, but yeah, tell everyone like how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you.
Yeah, I mean, pretty easy on TikTok and Instagram, No Shorts USA. So No Shorts USA. On YouTube, it's just No Shorts. I do anything Pennsylvania related, so it'll be like sports, news, food, or just like anything. I mean, I put a pumpkin on the Rocky statue. I try to, you know, get an alligator into the Phillies game. Tried like when the I-95 collapse happened, it got rebuilt. Like I was there like for the opening of that. You know, so that's kind of the stuff I do. So anything Pennsylvania, I really care about like showcasing local area, because not a lot of people do that. So that's me. No Shorts, yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. Nice
Absolutely.
having you.
This was super cool. I've never done something like that.
Yeah. No, this is great.
It's cool. I feel like I've never had someone ask me like
glad I
behind the
found you.
scenes questions and stuff. So it's super awesome. And I mean, it's just always great to like connect with people and stuff. So this is cool.
All right. If you know anyone that wants to buy, sell, or rent a house, like give them to one of them.
Yeah, I definitely will. I don't know if too many of my college friends would like are in the like mindset of buying places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rentals too?
He's the rental king of Philadelphia.
I got you.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. You know, I'll let them know for sure, and I hope this does well.
Yeah, so do we.
Actually, if I could at some point get like the footage for it, I would definitely like
Make some
look
stuff.
through it myself and like
Yeah.
get clips out of it. So I could, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully try to help you out a bit.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure you could
whatnot.
do better than I did.
Yeah. More viral.
All right.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
cool.
thanks again.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.